So we're at the ESCRS in Vienna in 2023, and my talk actually was on DMEK complications management for beginners, especially because it's very important when you start with a new surgery that you realize what are the complications you're going to face, because you need a plan B, meaning that when you face the complication, you need to know already before you start the surgery what you're going to do with that complication. Realizing this is always good to know what time does the complication come. Is it intraoperatively, is it postoperatively, and so on. So if we face intraoperative complications, there are several ones. The main complication is often that you are facing the unfolding of the graft that is very difficult. But in general, every step in the surgery can lead to a complication, starting with the paracentesis, the tunnel, doing the decimeterexis, where often the anterior chamber can be collapsing and therefore you can have difficulty in removing the diseased tissue. And then, of course, if you want to inject the graft, unfolding it, facing problems like you could have an upside-down graft, or finishing up the surgery and achieving a pressurized and good pressurized eye so that you have a less risk of graft detachments later on. When we then come to complications that come after the surgery, you can already have one complication occurring on the same day of the surgery, and that is a papillary block. This is decisive because if the block is not treated, then the graft can, of course, fail, and then you have done your work for nothing, actually. So then you have to regraft that patient. So it's better to know when this happens, what to do, for instance, to release the air or dilate the pupil, etc. For postoperative complications, graft detachment is the main complication, even though we could see in the long term that with experience, this detachment rate is going down with many surgeons, and also from using gas instead of air. Still, graft detachment is the main complication, that you have to know how to rebubble that complication. That means how to re-inject air to attach the graft. And finally, we have allograft rejections, because we are injecting foreign tissue, and the eye and the body will react to that tissue and recognize it as foreign, and then wants to reject it. So although this complication is much less than compared to older techniques like penetrating keratoplasty, and of course milder than in penetrating keratoplasty, so the outcome is rather good, and the prognosis, still you have to start with intensified steroid, etc. Other complications that are rather rare are iris, graft failure, for instance, that come early or late. And actually that's quite it. So it's quite, you have an overview of possible complications after DMEK that are in general mild and manageable. So I hope this helps you for starting with this wonderful surgery.